Okay guys, today I want to show you how to fix passing because people have been complaining that passing has probably been costing them the entire time and why passes go the wrong way. The first thing is to not do a 50-50 pass. Okay, so that means when you make a pass, you have to physically face the player. If you make, let's say for example, you want to make a pass to Verratti. If you go anywhere, this is 90 degrees, this is 45 degrees. Let's assume the player's over there. That is the acceptable ranges. The red line is perfect. The yellow line is, okay, you know what? We can maybe get away with it. If you're facing away in any of these directions, the pass will fail. But for some reason, so many players are facing this way and then making a pass going backwards. If you're getting pressed, I mean, of course, there's no one next to me now, so it's fine. But if you're getting pressed, those passes will fail. The second thing is a 50-50 pass. If you aim your left analog stick, because you can't see this in Foot Champions, if you aim your left analog stick, for example, in between two players, the game's going to choose which player to pass to. Do you see that? So let's say, for example, here, if I run downwards, or at least if I try to run downwards, you can see here, I make a pass in between them. See how the game, and I'm going to show you in the highlight, ignore the controller for a second. You see when you make a pass in between them, the game just assumes who you want to pass to, either the closest player or the more acceptable player. So the way to do this is aim past them. Don't actually aim to them. Aim to just in front of where they're going to be or where they are standing. And this way, you can guarantee the pass variety. You can guarantee the pass, for example, here to Mbappe without the game failing. See, I was aiming a bit more. Watch with Messi. Because there's two players in the way, I have to aim now. So if I stand, for example, like here, I have to aim all the way on this side. And that is how I get the pass to Messi. So do you see, I'm not actually aiming at Messi. I'm basically aiming past him. So I'm saying to the game, okay, I know there's two players there. If I try to make a pass like this, the game will assist it. So watch where I make a pass. Look where I'm aiming. I'm aiming my pass basically like a through ball. But it doesn't matter because don't forget, pass assistance is unassisted. If you face this way, the game will automatically make a pass to the right player. So that's what I'm trying to say. Don't worry about trying to make your passes accurate because the game will assist you. The issue is not with passing per se. The issue is where you're aiming. And don't forget, if you just go over here, you can see ground pass. It's unassisted. You can't even have it on semi. Well, you can. Well, look, semi is basically the same thing as assisted, because full manuals, that's when it's... I used to play... By the way, for those who don't know, when I first started FIFA, I used to play full manual controls. Full manuals when you have to actually deliberately aim it in that area. If you miss it up, that's your fault. But basically, semi and assisted, they're still going to go towards a player. And for those that do play Foot Champs, in case you're wondering, I'll move the controller for a second, but you can see semi is still partially assisted. It will depend more on where you're... the only thing that's different, so if you look at assisted, pass, direction and power will be assisted to help the players, the passes into the receiver's path and avoid opponent players. And if you look at semi, for example, ground pass direction will be partially assisted. It still gets aimed and depend on where you point, determining on where to avoid players. Pass, power assisted. So you can see basically on both situations, the actual pass itself is assisted. I know it says partially, but it's both assisted, as long as you aim it somewhat in the area. So that's why, as you can see, these 50-50 passes, they will end up going in between the players. So you can see like here, I aimed in between them. And as you can see, that's why the ball didn't go to Mbappe. Now you see how my left analog stick also shifted a bit to the left. That's another problem. So let's say, for example, now you're fine, Dan, you say, okay, you know what, Neil, I know what you're saying. I'm over-exaggerating. I feel like here with Neymar, like, okay, let me just make that pass. Hang on. Let me just get the ball. I'm doing this in kickoff, by the way. You can do this in kickoff as well. It's the best way of probably learning this. But you can see like here I'm over exaggerating. See, like every pass I want to do, if I want to pass the ball upwards, I'm basically aiming it. See, like, even if I'm aiming it to the far left, always my goalkeeper, aiming it again to almost my goalkeeper. See how the game is basically assisting it every single time to the correct player. Do you see that? I'm over exaggerating the pass. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is people don't realize, but they're passing one way and they're changing direction last minute. The best thing I can advise you to do is you go to customize control settings. Now this is only a temporary fix. Put the pass receiver to early and just go into kickoff and just pass the ball around. You're going to be astonished maybe not kickoff, maybe going, I think you can do this in rivals or I think normal seasons. You're going to be astonished that you can actually pass the ball to the correct player and the pass will go there. The reason why is when you make a pass, you can't change direction. You see that? It's locked in. You see, look at my left hand, it's amazing one way, but you see if I try to change last minute, I can't. It's only if I change it much earlier. But if I look one way, I make a pass, I can't change last minute, it either fails, or if I try to, it just overrides it and it still goes into that direction. So what's actually happening, if people don't realize, is when you're inside, and this only happens inside the game, and it's something that I realized when I was coaching so many players, and I was wondering, how come the passes are not really going the right way? And I asked them to get some footage with the lines, and then I realized it's because they're not aiming the right way. And what I mean by that is, let's say for example, obviously this is kickoff, right? So there's no pressure on the ball. But let's say for example here, I aim the ball over there, or I aim the ball upwards. Let's just say in theory, okay? When you make a pass, you're getting ready to make the first touch. So I'll give you an example, okay? Let's say I pass the ball to Marquinhos, okay? I want to do my first touch downwards or to the right-hand side. That means it's going to be, my left analog stick's going to be facing forward there, and then it's going to be facing to the right-hand side. Do you agree? But what happens is that when you're making a pass going downwards, you move your left analog stick early to take a touch, and then that assists the pass into the wrong direction. But people don't realize they're doing this. So if I let go, I'm going to show you again. Don't forget, this is on PS5. It's the same on PS5, on old gen. There's no difference. First, I have to get the ball off the AI, which is another mission in itself. But you can see, for example, like here, and don't forget, I would say when you're trying this, just put this back to late early, just so you understand how it works. Put it back to late. And you can see, look, let's say here, I pass the ball downwards. I'm taking a first touch to the left-hand side. You can see, for example, like here. But if you move the left analog stick last minute, you change the pass direction. Do you see that? So what you want to do is you want to take a first touch away. You make a pass at the ball, leave your foot, then take a first touch away. But what happens is when you're inside the box, don't forget the distance between the two players, it's much more shorter. Do you see that? And that's why you don't have time. And that's why, for example, the passes keep going to the wrong player, because you're thinking, oh, let me do a first touch away, but you're not given enough time. So what you need to do is visually see the actual red marker. As soon as the red marker changes, then you can control your first touch. Like here, red markers change. Now I can control my thing, my initial movement, and that will fix it. Now there's a few other things, of course. If a player has a 5-star weak foot, in theory, their passing will be good on either foot. It's not just short passing. Before, back in the day, like FIFA 19 or 15k team, all you had to worry about is short passing. Now it's kind of amalgamation of all passing. And then another thing is, forget passing one ways. For some reason, everyone keeps spamming driven passes. You do not need to do a driven pass if someone is right next to you. There's literally no need for it. A driven pass should only be used as like a space in behind. You have to play a quick ball in case your opponent intercepts it. You don't need to use a driven pass over here every single time. Driven passes have relatively a lot of power, and if you have too much power, your first touch is going to be heavy. So if you'd like a pass there, your first touch is going to be heavy. So make sure you stop using driven passes, because that's another thing that I'm saying. And if you don't believe me, what I would say is, let's say for example now you're like, you know what, Neil, I'm doing everything you're saying. You're probably not doing it. And a way I can prove this to you is go into a game. If I can just get the ball off AI and try again. That's why I say when you're defending, you don't have to actually do that much, because AI is so effective. They can just stand there and tackle the ball. You can't even get the ball off them half the time. But literally just stand there and literally face the player every single time. Play it slow and deliberate, because when you hold the run button, when you make a pass, you can see that when you move your left analog stick, it takes time for the pass to actually execute. Why? Because when you're jogging and you make a pass, you can make a pass at any point. But when you're running, you're taking long steps. If you make a pass at this point, the pass only executes when your player reaches the ball in the end, at the end. So do you see how these small things that you probably think that you're not doing, maybe some of these things you knew already, but subconsciously, because you're inside the game, you're not thinking about it, you're rushing. So for example, like here, if I'm normal left dribbling, this is why I say don't run. Because when you run, things happen too quickly, passes go astray, and when you're jogging, you can make a pass exactly when you want to. But when you're running, if I make a pass downwards, look how long it takes. I have to take my step, and then I got to make a pass. And by that time, you might lose the ball, or you might change direction last minute. Do you see how these small, insignificant things, but in the grand scheme of things, are the biggest difference in terms of how it's affecting your pass? What I would say is to reset yourself, make a rule. When you get past the final third, left analog stick, face a player, and then make, if you can't make a pass to that player, you pass the ball to someone else. The furthest I would say ever going is like a 45-degree angle. Of course, the basics. Of course, if there's a player in between Messi and this guy, of course, you do not make a pass if anyone is like here, here, or here. You pass the ball around them. I promise you, just go left analog stick, make a pass, try it, come back to this video and write down the comment section down below the improvement. And I just because I think people watch this video, they watch it and they think, you know what, I'm doing it. But I think the best way this can really be brought across if people give their feedback. So what I want to do is play a game, try what I said, come back to this video, make sure you got it unlocked, and then have a scene. Do you know what you can also do? Just record your gameplay and have a look yourself. Then once you've done that, you can make sure your passes are completely fine. Anyway, guys, that is how to improve your passing. Almost guaranteed. If you watch this, what on earth are they doing? Are they fighting? What on earth is this? What on earth is this? I mean, that is not an animation that I have seen before. Seems like we're playing some sort of boxing match. But anyway, well, I'll let these two battle it out. Make sure you battle the passing issues inside your game. And thanks for watching, guys. And I'll catch you next time. Peace out.